Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 679 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Nick Athens. And if you want to hear about 42 years in practice and his new book, To Health With You, stay tuned for the full episode.
Or warm up the hands, right?
Yeah. Welcome back, guys. Another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I have Nick Athens coming on with me today. Just had a chance to spend a weekend without him in Palm Desert at the Cal Chiro event. Great group of people out there supporting the future of chiropractic. I know some of the topics we're going to talk about anchor into longevity, and we're going to discuss his book, To Health With You. Supporting the associations, I think, is an important thing that we're going to discuss today, too. And 42 years in practice, we're going to open up with that. But we're going to also touch on topics such as how to get out of your own way as the chiropractor, and from the student to the real world and what that looks like, and how the path of life, we need a team of people that are taking care of us. But with that, I'm going to give you our big why. Why do we do what we do? That was the topic introduction, and this is our big why. Freedom of speech. I think it is integral to the future of humanity. And we know what it's like to be censored and shadow banned and traffic throttled. We'd never do that to you. And this show protects the freedom of speech in chiropractic, which I think is vital. I believe that we're at checkmate in the world, and chiropractic is one of the last important pieces on the chessboard that's keeping medical freedom alive. So with that, we do support medical freedom and family health freedom. They're not the same things, but if you need it, go find a chiropractor in your city and your neighborhood, and let them guide you and your family to making better health decisions. Philosophically speaking, we do support BJ Palmer Sacred Trust. If you do not know what that is, go and find the show notes and click on a link, and you're going to learn more about the chiropractic profession than you previously did, I guarantee you. We do believe in subluxation-based chiropractic. We believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual, which creates educated intelligence. I know I shouldn't have to say all these things in such detail at the beginning of our show, but if you know a chiropractic student that's not getting this message, please share the show with them, because I know they're taking some of the stuff out of the chiropractic colleges. And with that, this is episode 679 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Dr. Nick Athens, welcome.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, there is a lot of fire. I know that you're going to share with us today too, but I just let that intro sizzle to people, because I think there's a lot of people that are misconstrued what the chiropractic profession is. And if they just listen to 2 minutes of what that introduction is, they're going to feel a whole lot more inclined to step longer to listen to what the practitioners have to say. So 42 years in practice. Gosh. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot.
Yeah, being 65 years old, you learned a lot starting out and showing up at the office every day, and what you learn from all these patterns these patients come in with, and how they're in pain and how to change their mood. So, and what chiropractors got to realize, chiropractic is not only good for physical care, but it's great for mental care, because patients who are hurting physically, their body mentally is in a depressed state. They're not themselves. They talk more. They're depressed. They don't feel like going out for walks. They don't feel like exercising now. Their whole quality of life has been kind of short-circuited, put it. Mm-hmm. So the chiropractor's job is to reboot that short circuit and reconnect the mental with the physical. And it's amazing. You could help them mentally. And you realize after 42 years, how powerful is helping patients. You're getting a 2-for-1. In the medical world, they sell mental products, they sell psychiatric medications for the mind, and they sell pain relievers for the body. So there's 2 different products of 2 different areas, the mind and the body. Chiropractic is the one-stop shop pretty much. And when patients come in and you adjust them, you'll learn that the adjustment's the hub and the wheel. And from there, once you get patients well through adjusting and correcting subluxations and adjusting their spine, then you could add to the spokes if you choose to. But the key is master your trade. And if you master your trade, you're going to get excellent results. And I call it being locked in every day. And so what you learn after 42 years is, much like an athlete who has to perform in the field in their game, they got to be locked in. So doctors need to be locked in when they come to the office. What does that mean? That means their mind isn't outside the office and their body's inside the office. They're both connected in the office. And that's when you're the most powerful, when the mind and body's connected and you are locked in, giving the best adjustments. You're in there teaching them. And that's hard to find as a patient. And those patients will start referring to you. And actually, they'll even pay for your care. What do you think of that? So you learn to be more cash practice. 80% of my practice is cash. We have 3 other doctors in here, but mine is typically cash. And still see many patients throughout the day. Even being in practice 42 years, it's still fun for me to help patients and take their health to another level.
Well, I got a chance to spend time with you a couple times this year. We were at Life West, the Wave together, then we were at Cal Cairo together. And honestly, your enthusiasm is like a 25-year-old. Your physical presence is like a 25-year-old. Mm-hmm. How do you keep it together?
Well, you have to set up good habits. There's good habits you set up, and there's bad habits. I start my day with getting up at 4:30 every morning, hit the gym by about 5:15, 5:30, and 5 days a week. And people go, oh my God, that's so early. But your brain knows only what you teach it. So we are our own sensei inside our body. Our conscious brain takes the outside world. It teaches our subconscious brain our habits. So if you could teach your body very healthy habits, then you're on an autopilot system that kind of runs itself and you don't talk yourself out of it. Most people, unfortunately, teach themselves bad habits and they use outside-in coping mechanisms to calm themselves down, whether it be alcohol, tobacco, prescription medications. And they use all these outside-in substances to try to get out of their bad habit, the addictions they set up. And as a result of that, that creates a craving mechanism in their subconscious brain that they can't talk themselves out of. So they lose the tug of war. So in essence, if you could set up your mind where you don't have this tug of war and the craving mechanism is, hey, I got to get to the gym. I'm going to do my workouts. I'm going to have all these habits that I set up. You set up this autopilot system in your body that makes life easier for you. And then you could share that information with patients and how they could be better. And it's about sharing information with your patients and what they can be better. So if you practice the part and practice what you preach, that's one great way to build a practice. And, I've been able to do that and stick with that on a regular basis. Plus I also get chiropractic care. I get adjusted on a regular basis to take care of my body. I do stretching, flexibility, and high intensity interval training. I do things that, I don't have emotional eating. I try to, live a calm life. I try to stay in a zone. And when you are in a zone, you're making better decisions. You're making less reactive decisions and more efficient decisions, not only for your health, but when you can stay more locked in for patients to give them the maximum adjustment. And you could get them not a doctor visit, you give them a healthcare experience. And the healthcare experience when they come in is going to give them they're going to go chatter about you and go to their friends, and you'll get their friends and family in. So you have to just practice these great habits, and we'll go into building your healthcare team in a bit. But just getting these habits started on a regular basis, and it takes about 4 to 5 weeks to change habits. And if you could change habits in a good way, then you could start health hacking your own body for a better health trajectory.
There's a lot there that you just shared with me, but a lot of it goes back to building trust. Mm-hmm. And you have to build trust with yourself. And then when you build the trust with yourself, you can relate that to other people. And you can help them find trust within themselves because of your stability and your decision making.
That's correct.
I think there's a lot that goes into those healthy habits and the morning routines and the nighttime routines and the flow of people's life. I have a hard time doing that, just being honest, because I'm constantly on the road. And I was going to ask you a real selfish question, but how do you keep onto that routine traveling, and how do you keep onto that routine if like you're on the road three weekends out of the month?
So that's a good question. So I would write things down. I'd say, okay, I'm going to, I arrive in LA, let's say, I'd want to know the hotel. I'd know where their fitness center is. I'd want to know when I check in at the front desk where their fitness center is. If I gave a talk at this time, okay, then I only have so much time. What time does the fitness center open up there? And I would get up and just kind of go through that and commit to myself that I'm going to do that. And I'm not going through all that work to just find out and not do anything about it. I'm going through that process to hold myself accountable to get there. And the hardest part of any routine is just getting it started, right? So if I not too often have I gotten to a place to work out or do something fit wise, and I turn around and I say, what am I doing here? I should be back in bed sleeping. My mind kind of just flips the switch and it turns on to what I'm doing at the time. And then you just train your body that this is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. We get up in the morning. Tomorrow we're going to get up and work out. Okay. So it's like someone's coaching me, but I'm coaching myself because I've been able to train my brain to create great habits. And once I get to the gym and I start stretching and I see other people working out, because you get other people who are, there's a life going on at 5 a.m. Most people don't know that because they're not up early enough to see that. But the most efficient people I find, the electricians, the contractors, the people who are accountants, the chiropractors, they're really great if you meet these people first thing in the morning because they're very disciplined. And usually if they're disciplined with their workouts, they're disciplined in their career. It's going to just carry over in their career, whatever they do in their job, in their work. So it's a great way to kind of, interview people. If you were looking for someone, if they're in the gym working out early in the morning, they're going to be disciplined and they're going to be effective and they'll be efficient in what they do, because it takes a lot of planning to be efficient like that. And so, I want to be an efficient practitioner. So if I want to be an efficient practitioner, I'm going to get my works out of the way. Being in practice for a long time, you realize black holes get set up and you end up staying longer in the afternoons of the practice for whatever reason, returning phone calls, emails. So the only way for me to be effective is when that alarm clock goes off. And what I can control is when I get up, and I can control about what time I could get to bed to get enough sleep and quality sleep and things I could get better sleep with to maintain a healthy lifestyle.
So you wrote a book. I think that we have to talk about it. It's To Health With You. And I know you're really excited about it. You've been going around doing signings of the book, and it has a lot of fundamentals in it, but you talk a lot about how the chiropractic lifestyle supports this. It's not just the chiropractic lifestyle. There's a lot of things that you focus on, like sleep and what we eat and this different aspects of the healthy lifestyle. So let's just give a snapshot of why the book and why now.
Well, to me, doctor means teacher, right? So I wanted to find a way where I could help chiropractors improve their professional relationship with patients. And what does that mean? To teach them lifestyle changes that patients can digest, absorb, implement these changes because I see after 42 years of practice, James, you see time, and you see what time does to the body, and you see how bad decisions affect people's performance, and how when they're 80 years old, they can't stretch, they walk forward, they're hunched, they're in walkers. And if they could go back 40 years, if I could get them before they turn that 80 years old, maybe I could set them on a different path forward. So I wanted to write the book to show patients to work with doctors, first of all, health hacks, and make the doctor better, where the doctor doesn't have time to go through a lot of lifestyle changes with patients, but the book is an easy way to share with that. And instead of a book on lifestyle and aging written by an MD, I wanted to be a chiropractor writing a book on lifestyle and aging. And, MDs still would use medications. I wanted to find a way where we could teach lifestyle without drugs, injections, and surgeries. So where I'm working congruent with the chiropractor, teaching patients a healthcare path out of the rabbit hole. And so as a result, the medical system tries to slow the progression down the rabbit hole. And I wanted chiropractic care to raise the performance up out of the rabbit hole to teach them a better quality of life with more activity, more fun. And I found a formula that works. I put it in the book, a blueprint formula for aging, practice everything in the book myself. And I wanted to give patients clarity. So after over 750,000 adjustments, and over 27,000 new patients come in the office. You learned a lot, and I wanted to put all that information that came through me into a jigsaw puzzle or a book, and I put it into a 140-page book. It doesn't really have to be, there's only so many things you could hack the body with, so I put it in there with a story starting out, and then all the things patients can do to take care of their bodies, and how chiropractic care can be a part of that journey, how chiropractor could be your healthcare coach to guide you in the right direction. And I didn't want it to be a book where I'm telling people what to do. I wanted to guide them where to go. And I think you get a better statistical, results if you guide people. And it's all about stats. Baseball managers are statistically driven because they see what wins games. If I'm going to win and win patients over, then I better be very statistical efficient at what I do. And so I wanted to put that into a book, and I gave the world a great way that they could have better statistical healthcare moving forward and self-hack their body, and how chiropractic care, like I said, could be a part of that plan.
There's a lot of takeaways that I got from reading the chapters in the book. And the part that really impresses me is that there's a blueprint strategy for people to follow. And it doesn't involve like a huge, an ego within it. It's like, hey, these are things that I know that are going to be able to help people. And it's easy for people to get access to. And I know that people are going to watch us and be curious where they can get the book. So let's go ahead and share with them, if they wanted to get the book, where they can find it.
Well, they can find it on Amazon. So over 1,500 copies so far. So I'm happy with the sales of the book. And I'm getting 9-10 ratings on it, 5 stars. So I want it to be people who didn't read a lot could read the book and absorb it. Patients with ADD. I didn't want to make it, you don't have to have a 400-page novel in the book so people tune out. I wanted to give them information and tips and ideas and break it up mentally so they know how their mind works, how to create these positive habits, and what are some habits you could have that can move your healthcare path forward, and why do you need to hang around other people in your life? You can't do stuff by yourself to get the results you'd want. And another big part of the book I want to talk about was the perception brain, because our conscious brain really doesn't know fantasy from perception, imagination, reality. And so coaches manage the perception of the athlete. You can only imagine pro sports without coaches. It would be chaotic. Athletes would think they got the game. No coaches call timeouts. It's part of the whole game. Nobody talks about timeouts, but it's so part of the game. And that's where the coach reevaluates the athlete's perception to guide them, to throw them on the court again, to get them out to perform even better. And so I feel chiropractors can play that role. I feel chiropractors can be the coach during the timeout of their visits and coming in, and what the chiropractor can teach their patients to make them better. And to me, dealing with athletes over 42 years, what made a prime athlete for me is athletes that made athletes around them better. That's the ultimate. It's the ultimate sweet spot. Is if you could make Michael Jordan made athletes around him better, Joe Montana made athletes around him better, Tom Brady made athletes around him better, and they could have a different team, but they have this healthcare idea, or they have this mindset and this grind and these habits they've set up that to raise people's game around them. So as a chiropractor, are you raising your patient's game? Are you raising how they live their life? Are you locked in when you come to the office? Are you performing like a pro athlete? Would you pay to see yourself as a chiropractor? And if you're not doing these things, then you need to go to seminars and other chiros who are at this level to learn from them. And that can take your game to another level. It's going to take your patient's health to another level. And it's a win-win situation. And now you are known in the community. You're 5-star. You're changing lives. And when you're changing lives, that's the ultimate compliment to make patients better than they were before they came to your office.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Excite Medical and the DRX 9000, Peach State Payments, Recover, Chiro HD, Softwave, Cool Blue BA, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Script AI, Chiro Moguls, The Chiro Speaking Company, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting the sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now, Let's hustle.
Well, one of the frameworks I really like that you just shared with us is we don't always need to learn new things. We just need reminders.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the book is a great reminder for people to, I guess, dust off some of the ideas that are deep down in their subconscious that they just need to find some structure with. And I think that reminding people is a lot better than trying to drill them or teach them. And I think coaching is one of those things too. And I really believe that, I go back in time and I think about like when I was playing, competitive soccer, every once in a while you'd see like a player coach after you got out of college. There'd be a guy that would coach and he'd play too. And you could always see like the difference in the stability of that unit based on if there was a coach coaching the squad. And I think that we all want to consider ourselves the player coach. And you know how unruly those teams are and how lack of excellence there is. And like you said, with a great player, they are so amazing on the field that they take the pressure and noise off of everyone else.
Yep.
And they allow the other players to actually perform and to benefit from that excellence of that one person. And I really believe that that's a cornerstone for people to listen to this interview today, is to like say, look, if you ever want to do great for your patients, do great for yourself, and find the coach and do the training and build your community. And I think that that's a really hard thing for the young chiropractors to understand, is community building. And I know right now, because of the work that I do, so many people are just looking to be invited in. People don't know where to go or who to trust for their health. And that's a big takeaway for me getting linked up with you in your book is if people just knew what chiropractors do, they would be demanding it. And they'd be showing up before you got to your clinic because of how good the practice is and how much they believe that they need it. And like you said, a lot of your practice is heavy on cash. Like a lot of people are happy to pay premium for services that they feel benefit their life and their lifestyles. And people want what you're offering to them, which is longevity. But I know we have to go back in time a little bit on our topics. I do want to talk about the state associations. I want to talk about chiropractic seminars and groups and why it's so important for chiropractors to attend and to support financially and to be a part of those movements.
That's a great point. One more thing I'm going to say, and I'll answer that question. I forgot to say, besides Amazon, tohealthwithyou.net is another way to get the book, tohealthwithyou.net on the website. If you want to just order from there, you can. But getting to your question about the state associations, patients by themselves are vulnerable. Animals in life are vulnerable. They stay inside their own head. They stay with themselves. I told you earlier, the conscious brain doesn't know fantasy from perception or reality. You need other voices in your life. You need to hear what other people have to say. You need to be around community. You need to be around a group events. Much like, I tell patients, do Tai Chi in the park, spin classes, join a hiking club, go to the swim club, dancing, singing classes, whatever. So the same things with the state associations, Jim. What doctors need to realize, it should be part of your life. It's just be part of what you do. You go there, you invest in yourself, and you figure out what to do there, what you could learn from it, what you can take away. And these little details that you take away make the game better when you go back to the office. And I haven't seen too many state associations where people go there and they come back to the office and their practice hasn't improved, because they're getting something out of it, because they're putting themselves in a position to, much like you said earlier, how do you get on this schedule? Well, I kind of ask questions at the front desk and I get up early and I commit to myself to go to the gym. Well, you do the same thing when you go to state associations. The mindset is, okay, what am I going to do when I get out there? Okay, I'm going to go check in. I'm going to find out what the schedule is. Let me see what classes maybe I could benefit from. Let me see the group, what businesses are in the room that I could maybe ask questions on, whether it be a computer program, whether it be a cold laser therapy, whether it be rehabilitation programs you have to offer me. So you go in there and you learn and you're curious, and that curiosity helps you absorb information to go and start implementing some of these things and be a better doctor when you go back. So the state association should be a part of you to go, because the state association is doing what they can to keep the profession in the limelight and being out there. They're working for you in the background to make sure chiropractic's moving in the right direction. As a practitioner in the office, it's hard for me to do. I don't have the bandwidth to see all these patients throughout the day that I see, and then also, see what's going on in the chiropractic world with bills and what's going on as far as state legislations and such. So it's good to know what's going on in the profession when you go to these state associations, so they have all that information for you. And it's good information to know, and knowledge is power. The more information you know, the more you can start implementing it, choose to not implement it or choose to absorb it. And it's ways for you to be better. It's ways for you to hang out with the community, to share your ideas. And I'm sure I like sharing ideas with other students. I was at the seminar this last weekend, Jim. One of the best things I had was at the talk and signing the book. And they said, Dr. Athens, go ahead and promote your book at the talk. And I did. And I had 3 chiropractic students come up to me. And they said to me, hey, Dr. Athens, they said, we heard you were promoting your book. They said, I said, what's your guys' issues? What's the problem you guys have that in your school? What can I help you with? They said, we're really confused. I said, what are you confused? I said, well, we don't know if we should do laser and the adjustment and stim units and stretching and this. And I go, okay, let me break the confusion. Sit down here. You guys all been adjusted, right? So I adjusted all of them, cervical adjustments. I go, okay, and they all left like, whoa. Okay, so this is super important, getting adjusted the right way. And I said, guys, the adjustments, the hub and the wheel, you got to master that trade. And what they've learned ever since they went to the seminar, they've been in my office observing what's going on, learning, realizing, okay, you just gave us clarity. You took the confusion out. Now we have a path when we go through school and we're taking our tests. We know what the reward's going to be when we get out. We have a vision. We have a consequence of what our studies are going to be. And so it was great that I changed 3 students in a matter of minutes because they just happened to go to the seminar. I ran into them and it changed that was life changing for all 3 of them. And they want to work here. They want to just hang out with patients. They want to see them get well. So it's great to change lives. And these are the things that can happen where you're the association. If you're not absorbing, maybe you're giving information out. So it's a win-win on both sides.
Well, my call to everybody is to go in and attend at least one state association event a year. And if you can't give your time, give your money. If you can't give your money, give your talent. And I think that there's a few ways to give time, talent, or treasure. A lot of these state organizations need leadership, and they need people to help support with planning events. They need people to support with local groups. They need people to help meet with students at the different universities. Like, there's a lot of cool things that people can do. You can set up adjusting technique seminars and work with the students through the state associations. I just think there's a lot to offer by being involved. And that's what I've seen. And that's why my whole plan over the next really 3 to 5 years is to support the state associations greater than ever before and give them more exposure than ever before, because that's really what gives people the ability to have their practice laws and to do chiropractic and to be chiropractors. And without them, people are flying blind and they don't really understand what's at stake. So thanks for sharing your insights on what happens when people show up. So that gives us a little bit about the school versus the real world experience, because these kids are coming out very confused. They might not have great adjusting techniques. And I talk to a lot of people that are looking for talent, like associates. And most of the time they tell me that they get a student that really wants to get paid well, but they don't understand the chiropractic philosophy and adjusting. So they have to go and take this person, pay them, and then teach them how to become a chiropractor. So I love the idea that you invite these young guys in and help them learn how to shadow a practice. And it's cool that they want to stick around and help. So really cool story there. Now let's talk a little bit about the team that people need for longevity. I know that was a part that you wanted to touch on, is because chiropractic is a component to that. And I know that building a healthcare professional team is important for people too, because obviously it's not a pills, potions, lotions group that we run in, but there are people that help support the chiropractic philosophy, and there are people that help support the people that are sicker than ever before. And how would you recommend people to build that team for their path of life?
That's a good question. Most people who are, you could be on your healthcare team. I tell patients, I'm thinking of trying yoga. I'm thinking of trying Pilates. I want to go to the gym. I want to work out. I want to go to the track. I want to do this class or that class. And, you realize that a lot of patients, like I said, if you just look at animals in nature are in packs. And they rely on each other to survive and have a plan for the pack performance to get better longevity out of the animal group. So they need each other to survive. They depend on each other for protection and to make sure they're all going in the right direction. And you got a bunch of, they're doing that for a reason. Geese fly in a V formation, I say in the book, because there's 40% less energy on their wings when they go in a V formation. And so why not make your life less resistive by hanging out with people who can guide you? Because geese fly in this V formation, they peel off and they get to this destination. And as a result of that, they have a better statistical way to get to a location. So if you want to get in better shape, if you want to have a better quality of life with less heart disease, less diabetes, less obesity, less of these chronic illnesses that we're all experiencing, less emotional eating, less emotional, this 24/7 stress life is just driving people in a bad direction. You need other people to keep you on track, because you think you're staying on track, but that's a fantasy perception voice in your brain, and your fantasy perception voice in your brain will always agree with you. So you need realistic voices in your life. And so this healthcare team is a realistic voices that give you it bounce off your perception and your fantasy of your brain, and it gives you more guidance with better statistical relevance moving forward. And so you're going to see that you can start losing that weight. You can start being more flexible. You can start getting stronger. And everybody wants these qualities when they age, but you got to set them up. No plan is a plan to fail. You can't wish for health. You have to plan for it, much like an investment portfolio. Same sort of thing with your health over time. And you need other people who are there to excited to have you in their classes. The gym is excited to have you in the gym to work out. And really what these classes and these environments do, we don't always have good days. We sometimes have these bad days, and we can't, I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like going to the class. I don't feel like doing this. But then when you miss these classes, they say, well, geez, Nick, where have you been? You were here all the time at 5:30 in the morning. Where were you? Yeah, I kind of got out of sorts there. Well, but we expect you here. What's going on? You were getting some great workouts. Yeah, you're right. So the accountability factor is huge. And that's why athletes have coaches. Athletes have coaches to make them better. So if you can't afford coaches, then you could afford classes or places to go, or groups or hiking clubs. And you could go online to, try a yoga class, a beginning yoga chair class, let's say. Or you want to just go to the track and walk, and you'll see other people there, and you'll say hi to them, and you'll get to meet people and get to be curious or meet other people who are trying to do the same thing. Because most people on the other side are going through the same thing you are. They're grinding in life. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to get good habits going. So, Tom Brady said, I was nervous getting on the field when I go out there, but then you realize the other people are nervous too. They're going through the same thing I am. I'm not the only one like this. They're going through it. So if I could battle myself and kind of not go through this and kind of be in a calmer state and hang around people to keep you more confident, then I have a better chance of winning games. So the same sort of thing in your life, hang around these other people to give you more confidence that you're going in the right direction. And then you have this new habit formation that was a bad habit formation you had before, but now you put it into the subconscious brain. In 4 to 5 weeks, you started going in the correct direction. And now that's changing your health trajectory, because now it's becoming more of a habit, and you can start doing these things and not fighting the voices in your head. You start winning the tug of war. You don't talk yourself out of it as much. I get up at 4:30 now in the morning. It's not like my body says, Nick, what are you doing? Go back to bed. You're supposed to be tired. Everyone's sleeping. You're the only one getting up. What are you doing? This is crazy. So those voices are kind of not in my mind anymore. Why? Because I've changed the habit pattern in my brain to keep moving forward. So, and you control that habit pattern by what you put into your mind and who you hang around. And those people can support you to get through these tough times to make it a better habit for you. So use these other people in your life to help guide you in the correct direction.
Yes. Lean on the expert, build a community that supports you, and keep showing up. And one of the top
too, the blue zones, Jim, it's calm community, and they're, less emotional eating. They're eating better food choices. And these people live over 100 years old. They're making less reactionary decisions, and they're efficient decision making, and they have movement, and they're in a community. They're all with each other, supporting each other. So set that little community up yourself, and you're going to see a big difference in your, in your outcome, long term. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, and the decisions that you make today will tell you who you are in 10 years from now.
That's correct.
And I like that you frame that as to get out of your own way and just go do it. And the last thing I'll share with people is all these things that Dr. Nick is talking to you about today. It's about investing in yourself and paying it forward to you and making it a priority for yourself. And if you think it's an expense, that's what it will show up as. But every day that you don't invest, it gets more expensive. And that's the thing, is if we want to look at it as an expense, the longer that you neglect yourself, mind, body, spirit, it becomes more expensive with time. And you become more of a liability to not only yourself, but everyone that loves you. So you got to start doing these healthy habits and building your team so you can have an excellent life and have longevity and have that quality of life that people want to talk about so frequently. But how do you get that? Well, make the decisions today. That's going to show you who you are 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, and keep those things going. Dr. Nick, your episode 679 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. If you want to go find his book, go to healthwithyou.net or go check him out on Amazon. Buy the book. Give him an awesome 5-star review. Love on this man for his 42 years of practice. He's always giving back. He always shows up. He always knows that there's a better way for people to find chiropractic. And I believe that if you wanted to support him, just go to healthwithyou.net, get a copy of the book, and leave a nice review for him on Amazon. Dr. Nick, thanks for being our guest today.
I appreciate you, James, and what you do for the profession, not being a chiropractor, is amazing to me. And I just want to give you kudos on that, and what you do is to take the profession to another level with your podcasts and with your energy and trying to move the profession forward is it's just amazing, and I want to commend you for that and tell the viewers out there that James does a lot for our profession to move it forward in the right direction, and he's I'm very proud of you, what you do, and you got my ultimate respect to you.
Well, I have coaches too, and I show up to all the places as well, and I appreciate the acknowledgement. And the only reason I'm as good as at what I do is because I study it. I was just listening to somebody that said, if you pay attention and do something for 20 hours, you can get pretty good at it.
That's right.
And if you do something and you pay attention for 20 hours and then you do it for 7 years, you might get really good at it. And I think that that's what having a show like this does, is it allows me to host, but it allows me to lean on the practitioner for who they are and their beliefs and what makes them amazing in this world. So chiropractic is second to none when it comes to the healing art of chiropractic and how it can change people's lives. Move one bone, affect the nervous system, change the life. And I love the fact that chiropractic has these fundamentals with the philosophy, science, and art. And I think there's nothing else that can compare to it. So thank you for your dedication to being the practitioner and the acknowledgement at the end of the show today. I will close out once again saying, go check out healthwithyou.net. Get the book, leave him an awesome review. And if you made it this far in the interview and you love what we're doing over here, please share the show to somebody that needs it. There's a lot of people out there that do not understand this chiropractic profession, especially the students. So if they're taking chiropractic out of the colleges, drop this link to somebody that's in a chiropractic program so they can understand the profession better. I love and appreciate you, Dr. Nick. I will close out by saying you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. See you guys on the next episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.